All right, Gophers fans, it's the Gopher Broke podcast. We are talking head coaches in the Big Ten and where PJ Fleck ranks among the bunch. We're going to talk about spring practice and what we learned this week or this past week from spring practice. And then also, we're going to get into school position U. I feel like we always talk about the Gophers being safety U. We talk about other schools being tight end U and what have you. We're going to break down who is the school position for each Big Ten position, I guess. That's a little mixed up, a little messed up. You get what I'm going with it here at the Go for Broke podcast. What up, people? We are going to be talking Gophers here today. It's your Go for Broke podcast, talking to Gophers football once a week, every week for you. It's the off season, but we got to get it going. Trist, how is it going for you this fine week as we record on Thursday night?
Yes, it is good. It is good. I will say I'm playing injured tonight. I'm playing injured. I've been fighting a cold for like 2 days, and it is beating me down. But look, I'm still here. We play injured. Other than that, though, good week. Good week. Things are going well. Like, I miss sports. I would love for some more sports, college basketball not being gone. Not quite NBA playoffs yet.
Spring is officially sprung. It's time for some spring football talk. And so that's what we're going to kind of transition to right here. We're going to talk about what we saw at the Gophers practice this week. All right, so let's talk some spring football. I was on hand for the Gophers' last spring football practice this past Tuesday. I'll be on hand for the next Tuesday as well. But we learned, I guess, a little bit more this weekend or this week. What do you got for me, Tris? What do you want to know when it comes to Gophers spring football?
So from watching the clips, I think the number one question is it's got to be the split jersey Koi. I want to know how much should we realistically be expecting to see him in this offense, or what do you think we should be expecting? Because that's what I think the biggest question is, because we're doing the whole split jersey. They're making it a thing. So we'll see. I saw PJ was on ESPN or something today talking about it too. So that's what I'm kind of curious is if it's going to be all hype. Are we going to be talking about Koi's going to play offense, he's going to play offense, and then we're just going to see him in for a couple of special packages?
It's definitely going to be a couple of special packages. It's not going to be like a long time, multiple time, every drive sort of thing. He got in on one-on-ones with the DBs, against the DBs, and as a wide receiver. He got in on a couple different team periods where he got plays, and it wasn't always when he's in, it goes to him. He's just it's not like he's a decoy, and it's not like he's a person that they'll always target in his packages. They made sense of it all. I think that it definitely, it's not going to be a non-factor, and it's not going to be a go-to thing either. But I think that it's not completely, I guess, happenstance that Koi Parrish, who's a two-way player, is wearing a half and half jersey and rocking it for the first time in front of the media and whatnot.
Yeah.
At the same time that Roman Voss, who is on campus, the number one kid in the state of Minnesota, has a Bama offer, has some big time offers, who also plays two ways, is in the building, and all of a sudden Koi's rocking a half and half jersey and doing all that. I don't think that that's just 100% coincidence, but I think overall it's cool to showcase him that way. What Koi said in the presser after the practice was that the reason it came up was because Drake Lindsay was saying, he kind of complained about practice because he was saying he can't find Koi on the routes or the different concepts that they're running in practice because he's looking and he's basically thinking he's on defense because he has the maroon penny on, while maroon is on defense and white is on offense. So he's like, I'm not giving him looks because I forget that he's not on, he's on my team. So that was kind of the reason, was to get him some white in there so that the way the quarterback could be like, oh yeah, he is on my on my side too. So I think that was part of it, and that sounds legit. I mean, I could definitely
Oh
see how
yeah,
that would be confusing when you're like, oh wait, is Coy on my squad this time, or is he defensive right now?
yeah,
Because
especially with how
so I
fast
get
paced
that part.
practices are.
Exactly, exactly. PJ is all about the speed of practice and keeping things going from one to the next, no dead time. So definitely, I could see how that would get confusing.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay, that was my biggest one, and then I was there any other guys who like kind of surprised you or shocked you, like stood out? Obviously, it's so hard to tell with these with the practices in front of the media are so much different than how practices are. But was there anybody who kind of like popped out to you, like, oh, wasn't expecting him to show out?
Yeah, I would say people that kind of impressed me in this one, I would definitely say Jackson Howard popped out to me a little bit more. It seems like he's getting
Okay,
worked in with the ones a little bit more too, which I know you'll love to hear.
love that, love
Um,
that.
but I don't know what he's going to be. I don't know if he's going to be a full-time starter and a dude like a Danny Sturgow that you're going to have to know where he is at all times, or if he's going to have that ramp-up period this year and then next year's the big year for him. I think he has a lot of potential. I'm excited about him, but I'm not counting him as a lock for anything right now. Just knowing on Twitter, I had mentioned that Jackson Howard stood out to me, and then I also said that the defensive line is my biggest question mark by far on this team. And someone's like, "How can you say those two different things and say only Anthony Smith and Devin Eastern made huge impacts, but you mentioned Jackson Howard?" Yes, Jackson Howard popped off the page to me. He's getting more reps. He's getting more impressive, more comfortable. But like, I still don't know what he's going to be. So I'm excited for him, cautiously optimistic. But he was a player. Jalen Smith, wide receiver.
Okay,
He had some big plays. He got worked in with the ones. Here's one thing I will say was my biggest takeaway from this practice is that, like, I know we talk about position battles and jobs aren't won in the spring and all of that jazz. You can see a lot of the people getting more of reps with certain things and kind of in the lead for a position, so to speak. So, like at quarterback, I would say Drake Lindsay is in the lead. At running back, clearly Darius Taylor's in the lead, but I would say AJ Turner is probably the RB2, and I can't remember his name. Last name Cam. He came from Washington. He's probably number 3 in the running back room right now, just by like the how the reps are getting split and things like that. Those are inferences you can make. One thing I will say is the most interesting thing is the wide receiver room. I still have zero clue.
that
Like
leads us into that
there
last
are
question I had.
legitimately 7 wide receivers that have been rotating in with the ones. 7 of them.
That's crazy work. That's all.
So
That you got to think that's going to thin out, right?
I mean, I would be absolutely shocked if we don't have 1 or 2 transfers by the end of the spring from that wide receiver room. And that's not saying I want them to transfer. I want them to be here.
Yeah,
But like everybody's got mouths to feed, you know what I mean? I would say the people that run with the ones the most right now, Logan Loya runs a ton in the slot. I wouldn't be surprised to see him out there for the first snaps in the game one. Uh, the first Lemecky's obviously going to be out there.
yeah,
Coach loved Lemecki. Lemecki's a captain on the team. He's kind of the head of this receiver room, regardless of production. So he'll be out there in some capacity. I say that you see Christian Driver out there a lot, and you see Jalen Smith starting to get out there a lot more. So that's 4 right there. Javon Tracy is getting reps out there, like decent amounts of reps out there. He's probably, I'd say those 5 are kind of the first 5 that I see the most ones reps with over these 2 practices so far. But then you also have Nuke Hayes and Kenrick Lanier, who are both getting reps with the one still. So those are 7 dudes deep that this wide receivers room is seeing. Your boy Malachi Coleman,
I was just about to
unfortunately
say.
injured right now. He was not dressed for the practice, so I think he's probably on a development year this year. Just based on that and seeing how kind of deep this room is.
Yeah,
The one name that I don't see much with the ones, and I wouldn't be shocked if he transferred, but I hope he doesn't, Tyler Williams. He's the biggest receiver on the team. He's the dude who transferred in from Georgia last year, but he didn't really get much playing time because we had all the guys in front of him.
yep.
He is big and he has made some plays in these practices, but I don't know if he's actually going to make it into this rotation again this year.
That's tough actually because I like you said he's the biggest dude in the room. I was kind of excited about him, but it was just so deep. There's just
For
so many
sure, for sure.
guys,
And I
dude.
mean, So many guys, and who knows how it'll shake out. I mean, a week from today, it could be like none of those dudes are in, and Tyler Williams is all the reps. Like, I don't know what's happening right now. The wide receiver room is definitely the hardest to pick from, and there were drops throughout the practice too, which you don't love to see. But honestly, I feel pretty comfortable with the wide receiver room, which is a nice feeling.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's obvious. It's a great feeling to know that you have too many guys. Imagine if we had too many great offensive linemen that we didn't know what to do with. That'd be great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I feel you. Otherwise, cornerback. Zaquan's corner one. It's pretty clear.
Love that.
He looked like he might have got dinged up a little bit in that practice. It looked like they kind of shut him down about the halfway point when they did their pit stop. And I don't think we saw him again for the rest of the day. I don't know. I'm sure it was some small, but
He's
he was
fine.
kind of out for the
Big
rest of
game.
it. That means some of the younger guys stood up, and so Mike Gerald was the guy who was in there a ton. And then Naeem Parrish, true freshman, early enrollee,
Mm,
he could be the cornerback three right now. Like, he has a knack for the ball. He was making plays. Number 21. Don't forget that. Number 21, true freshman Naeem Parrish. I think he could work into this defense.
that would be awesome. Imagine going into that, like going into the season having like not one but two super young D backs, like just set for the future.
Honestly, we might have three because Mike Gerald will be a redshirt freshman,
Yeah,
Naeem Parrish will be a true freshman, and Zaquan Bryan will be a redshirt sophomore. So it's like you
that's
got three dudes
nuts.
that could have 3+ years of eligibility. Like if it clicks for that secondary, and you look at the safety room with Coy, with Carey, with Aiden Gooseby, like that's 6 DBs right there. And Giante
Mm.
McMillan is still working in there. He's only got 1 year left, I think. But of all of those names, like the DB in the secondary is nice. The
Oh yeah,
biggest thing I'm worried about is that defensive line because the linebackers hold their own.
oh yeah.
Maverick, good, ton of play experience. Devin Williams, good, ton of play experience. Kingsbury and Joey Gerlach have been making plays here and there, so maybe they're the next two up in that room. And then you got the transfer in Roberson, so I think the linebackers will hold their own. It just comes down to the depth of the defensive line because Devin Eastern's going to be a dude.
Yep.
PJ Fleck said in the press conference, like, he's giving our offensive line fits, and we have a good offensive line, and he is just bulldozing through folks. And then Anthony Smith, we know he's a dog. Like, you got those two studs. Jalen Logan Redding, he can hold his own in the Big Ten. We've seen that for years now. And then you've got hopefully Jackson Howard working in there that can be a really nice piece for you. But that's only four guys. And our defensive line, we like to rotate like 8 dudes. So it's
Yeah.
like behind those four, I don't know what we got. And I have love. I know you and I both were excited for Rushan Lawrence. I still think he can be a dude. But when I see him on the field, man, he's really small. And like, that's not to say that he can't make it work, or maybe that's good. Maybe it's like catching a hamster. Like, you can't catch him because he's dodging in, dodging out, and all that jazz. But like, overall, he's small. I think he's still catching up a little bit. Stephen Curtis, haven't seen much of him on the field as far as working into key reps. I think some of these transfers, it's taking a little bit more time than what we've seen in years past.
Yeah, and it's hard not to overreact. Again, just spring practice. There's so much football to be played before now in the season, but it would be nice if some of those guys, like especially like Stephen Curtis, like those transfers and stuff, like they got to be able to find reps for him in practice because I'm not to say that we were going to lose him to the transfer portal, and it's not like we ever had him if that's the case, but you just got to find reps for him because you don't know what you got until you got it, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I just don't know how they're going to hold up against Big Ten O line, to be honest. I'm kind of nervous about it, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope that they show me, like, yo, you're an idiot. Shut up. Stop talking on this podcast before it gets canceled. That's how good I hope they are. So hopefully we'll see what happens with that. But that's kind of the gist of spring practice. We got one more next Tuesday. I'll be tweeting about it, but then we can come back here and get a little bit more in depth and talk some final looks. But we're going to shift away from spring practice. And Gophers fans who are listening, if you have a question or you want something specifically noted from spring practice and want me to pay more attention to it, drop a comment down in the comments over on YouTube. I will definitely give it a look and see if I can talk a little bit more or find a little bit more insights on a certain position or certain guy or what have you. But let's shift it a little bit. Let's talk. First, let's talk school position use. I butchered that in the intro, but we talked about how there is basically positions that schools are like, yeah, I'm QBU or DBU or all that. I
Yep.
want to talk and break it down Big Ten style. So we're only talking Big Ten schools. I'm going to list the position and I want you to tell me which Big Ten school is the best at that position.
Okay.
Not just this year, not just last year, but like over the course of history, who is QBU, who is RBU, and what have you. So we're going to kick it off
Fair
first
enough.
with the quarterbacks. Who is QBU in the Big Ten?
QBU, it's tough not to go with, well, no, let me think about that here. Is it going to be, no, not Ohio State. I'm some recency bias with CJ Stroud. QBU. Hold on. Let me pull up my Big Ten list here.
He
Who
needs
do
to see
you?
the helmets, folks. He needs to see
I
the
need to see the
helmets.
logos because that's what gets me. Oh, the Big Ten is not have a ton of quarterbacks coming out of it. Would it be
No,
Oregon?
we
It
don't.
would have to be Oregon probably.
It could be. It definitely is a good answer. I mean, recently you've got Bo Nix, you've got Dylan Gabriel. Prior to that, oh, Justin Herbert, you got Marcus Mariota. So, I mean, I can't hate on that answer. I started to try to think of more traditional Big Ten teams, but that's probably the right answer.
Yeah.
I would say if you're going more traditional, I would be split between Ohio State and Michigan. I know Michigan hasn't really had a ton of dudes, but like Tom Brady, hard to write that off.
I
And
guess
then JJ McCarthy, Minnesota Vikings fans are hoping on him, right?
he will be
But
good.
otherwise, like Ohio State's had a ton of dudes that are drafted. Like you got Fields, Stroud, Haskins, Barrett,
Yep.
Terrell Pryor, who was a quarterback for a while. Like uh, even dudes before them that were getting drafted, but they haven't really done much in the NBA. So I don't know. It's tough. I guess if you're talking just getting them drafted in production and things like that, then maybe it's Ohio State. But I think Oregon's a sneaky good answer. They did good in college and they did good in the NFL.
Yeah, that's I'm kind of basing it off of like okay, we call it like Iowa tight end U, but we call Iowa tight end U because those tight ends end up being really good in the pros. So that's where I was basing it
That's
off
fair.
of, and that's where Ohio State cannot fall into that category because they just get drafted and then
That's
other
fair.
than CJ Stroud tearing it up.
Hey, I still got hope for Justin Fields, man. I still got hope for him.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
yeah.
I'm one of those late stragglers hanging around.
That's fine. I hope nothing but the best for him. Seems like a cool dude. I think he was dealt a rough hand. I think so. I think I hope he finds success somewhere.
Yeah, he's on the Jets though, so we'll see if that ever happens.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
All right, let's shift it over. Let's talk running back you. Who is RBU of the Big Ten?
Ooh, see, that's where I was kind of going Ohio State or even Penn State. I mean, there's a couple of dogs there. I'm gonna say, I mean, there's got to be like Ohio State, like Zeke.
No, I'm just making sure before I give credit where I don't want to give credit, I want to try and talk myself out of it. But my
Don't
pick
say
is not
Wisconsin. It's
either
gonna be
one of those
Wisconsin,
schools.
isn't it?
It's gonna be
Yeah,
Wisconsin.
yeah, it's gonna be Wisconsin.
Uh,
Melvin
it,
Gordon, right? Who was all there? They
Melvin
had
Gordon, Jonathan Taylor, Ron Dane,
yeah.
Monty Ball,
Okay, I
James
was wrong.
White. I mean,
I
Braylon
just
Allen, who could still pop off and go crazy.
I just do everything I can to keep Wisconsin out of my brain. So that's on me. It's
I
because the
feel you.
list I have
I
them
feel
pulled.
you. I didn't want to give them credit.
I have the list pulled up of the Big Ten, and they're just so far down in the rankings that I didn't scroll, so I didn't see the logo. It's just so far down. Oh,
I feel you. So we got Oregon as QBU. We got Wisconsin as RBU. Unfortunately, gross. Moving
yuck.
on. Let's go to wide receiver U. I think there's only one answer. Maybe you're gonna tell me I'm wrong here, but who do you got for wide receiver U?
Uh, USC, correct? Who do you got? Wait,
No,
one
no,
right
no,
answer.
not for me. Dog, it's got to be Ohio State. I mean, like
Oh,
Marvin
Marvin
Harrison Jr.,
Harrison.
Garrett Wilson,
I
Chris
don't know why.
Olave, Terry McLaurin, Jeremiah Smith. Like, bro, they just got guys for years. They got to be wide receiver U.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. You're correct. You're
Jackson
correct.
Smith and Jigba, Jamison Williams.
It's
Ooh,
everyone. A league full of Ohio State wide receivers.
for real, though.
I forgot about Terry McLaurin being there and stuff. Scary Terry.
Yep. Michael Thomas. from the Saints.
Jesus. Okay, I dropped the ball there.
They
I
just
don't
keep
know about
going back. They just keep going back.
they literally just so many wide receivers. They're
All
deep.
right, you
Yep.
already answered for tight end U. I'm going to agree with you. It's Iowa.
Yep.
We don't have to touch too much on that. We got two rivals here. I don't want to talk too much about them. Moving on to offensive line. This one, I feel like there could maybe be different answers. I don't really know who, so I'm curious to know what you got.
See, this is where I was going to Ohio State. I was going to Ohio State and Michigan here. Michigan's got dogs at the offensive line.
Yeah, I think if I had to go off of the top of my tongue, uh, I would probably first say Michigan. I don't know why. I just feel like they got dudes forever
Yeah.
in the NFL.
It's
Maybe
hard to
I'm
know
wrong.
because you don't
Maybe
know
I'm
any.
trying to avoid.
Yeah, you don't know any NFL offensive linemen, and that means you don't know where these guys went to school. Is where in my brain how I break that down. Like I don't know where none of these cats went to school because I
Right.
don't know none of these cats. But Michigan probably.
We'll give it to Michigan, and I'll let y'all yell at me in the comments if we're wrong on that one. All right. I want to know who is linebacker you. I'm going to skip defensive ends because I don't know where to
Ooh,
go with that. I think lots of teams
yeah,
have
I
a
wouldn't
case. I
know.
don't know if there is
Oh,
actually,
it's Penn
no,
State.
I lied. I need to walk that back. Yep, you are right. It is
Yeah,
Penn
yeah,
State.
it's Penn
I
State.
started saying it and then I was like, hold on, hold on a second here. What am I saying?
It's definitely Penn State. Definitely Penn State. So
Yep,
that's good. We checked that one
it's
off the
not
list.
even close. It's not even close. It's Penn State. All right, now we're back to linebacker you.
Ugh, ugh, ugh. I don't. I'm trying to say some new schools. Nebraska. Nebraska.
Can you give me three Nebraska linebackers that have been absolute dogs?
Will Compton. Ever heard of him?
Yes.
Uh,
Yes, I have.
okay. Nebraska was a bad answer. I'm trying to get some new school because yeah, linebacker is tough. Linebacker is really tough. It's gonna be Michigan or Ohio State again.
I was trying to Google it really quick and see if somebody else could answer the question for me. But yeah, I don't know. It says LSU for the best in the college football. They've got Ohio State as number two.
Yeah,
They said Malik Harrison, Darren Lee, Jerome Baker, uh, Joshua Perry, Raekwon McMillan. Like, I mean, all those dudes sound fine and all, but I don't know if they really make me go, oh, yeah, that's for sure it. You know what I mean?
that's all right. The Big Ten doesn't have all these schools. Save some for LSU.
That's fine. We'll just give it to Ohio
Yeah,
State. We'll give that to Ohio State. We're not spreading the love on that one. All right, cornerback you. You got anybody for this one?
corner. Where's safety? Cornerback. I have no clue, dog. Maybe I was gonna say Iowa, but Iowa always has a white safety who's really good. Cornerback. Illinois. Is there some Illinois cornerbacks in the league?
I feel like there's a some, but I think we got to go with Michigan. I think we got to go with Michigan. They got Will Johnson coming out this year. They got they had some dude that I'm thinking of. I'm slipping on his name that was just drafted. That's been pretty good. Ben St. Juice came from Michigan to Minnesota. I'll give him a
Then
partial point. And then you got Charles Woodson. You got Charles Woodson who gives
yeah,
you like a ton of leeway there.
yeah, he
So
was
I'm gonna go with
pretty good.
Michigan.
Oh,
Yeah,
see,
I'm gonna go with Michigan. Charles Woodson leads the charge.
I got you sick over the airways.
No, I just swallowed wrong. All right, and then safety you. I think we both got the same answer here.
Oh yeah,
We're locking it in with Minnesota. You got Tyler Newman. You got Antoine Winfield Jr. You got Jordan Howden, and the hits keep coming, especially because you got the next few coming up: Kerry Brown, Coy Parrish.
yep.
It's not stopping anytime soon.
Oh
So
yeah.
we're locking in Minnesota with safety you. So let's talk real quick about head coaches in the Big Ten. This is kind of maybe how we'll wrap this one up, and then I'll give you like two quick hitter fun questions that ChatGPT gave to us to wrap up the show. But I want to rank the Big Ten coaches. And I want to know where PJ Fleck falls for you when it comes to ranking the Big Ten coaches. So let's pull up the list of Big Ten football coaches right here, right now. I don't know how we best do this. Do you want to go from worst to first on this one?
I mean, yeah, we could. I think that's probably the easiest way, just because I think we're gonna end up Because, I mean, if we go worse, we're going to end up with the bad teams. We'll start with the basketball teams, the basketball schools, and then go from there.
All right, so looking at the teams, who do you think has the worst head coach in football right now, in Big Ten football?
Is Purdue's head coach still there? Because he did not do a good job this year.
No, he got fired. He's one of the only ones that changed. So they brought in Barry Odom.
Well, okay, so Purdue's out. I mean, Deshaun Foster was rough this year. That the press conference, the UCLA head coach.
The press
correct?
conference was pretty brutal.
Press conference was bad.
Dog, you already know where I'm going with. I'm going Northwestern. It's got to be Northwestern. I mean, like
David Braun.
4-8 last year. We can't believe they beat us the year before. That was some miracle juice and all that. Like, David Braun is not the dude, I don't think. I think they're going to be hiring another new head coach probably next year, which is unfortunate. But at the same time, like, he wasn't the dude they initially wanted to hire, and then they kind of just played out that way. I think if you weren't the guy that they actually wanted, you're probably one of the worst ones in the conference.
Yeah, that could be the case. Like, you're the filling guy.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you're correct.
Doing enough to hopefully keep your job. But I'm with you. I'm with you that Deshaun Foster's down there. I'll put him in second to last. How about that?
Yeah, he just didn't show much for me. I mean, I don't know. They didn't. Their team though didn't do it for me either. Like, they just weren't that good. And again, how hard could it be to get guys to come live in LA? You know what I'm saying?
True. That is so true.
Like,
all right. Now I'm going to ask you, would you rather put Purdue's new coach as the next worst coach just because we don't have enough information on him?
absolutely.
Or do you think someone like Maryland's coach, who's been up and down, up and down, up and down, should be next on the list?
I think we put new coach in there just because we don't know. And Mike Loxley is Maryland's coach, right? He is not very good. His record is not very good as a coach.
Yeah, he's 33-41.
Oh, I'm looking at 31-59. That's fair. Yeah, we can put him down there.
All right, so then next up, I'm going to give you three coaches. I want you to put them in order from worst to best. We're going to go Jonathan Smith, Michigan State. We're going to go Greg Schiano, Rutgers. And we're going to go, we got one more in here, Sharon Moore, Michigan. Who's worse? Who's the best?
Oh, I think you might have listed them from worst to best because no. Yeah, Sharon Moore actually I think was pretty impressive. The amount of transfers out he had, and he's just taken over, and they've got allegations of things, and he just stepped in. Thought he didn't do bad. Greg Schiano, I guess they had a good season this year. If we're gonna go unbiased, we'll say him behind Sharon, and then Michigan State after that. But Michigan State did beat Michigan this year, and that counts for something. No,
not
that didn't
enough
happen.
to make them better, right? I don't.
Did that happen? That didn't happen.
Tristan's rewriting history over
Yeah,
here.
I don't think that happened. Yeah, they almost beat him, but I don't think they actually did beat Michigan.
All right, I'm going to give you three more coaches, and then we're going to get interesting here. Actually, keep Sharon Moore in the conversation. So Sharon Moore still, I want you to place him in the worst to best somewhere in here with Matt Rule, Luke Fickell, and Jed Fish of Washington.
Oh, I don't know nothing about Jed Fish. I put Moore before
That's
Matt
okay.
Rule.
We can put him down there.
Yeah, I
All right. So
I
then
put
the
Moore
question
before Matt
answers,
Rule.
I'm okay with that. I don't hate that. The question comes, where's Fickell in there then? Is he between Moore and Rule? Is he ahead of Moore? Is he
if you're basing it off
Rule?
of
What do you got for Luke Fickell?
was this Fickell's second year there? You got to put him below
6-6 first year and 5-7 the second year.
Yeah, you got to put him below
7-6 the first year, 5-7 the.
I put him below all of them. I put him below all of them. Like you get it's not a hard school to recruit football guys to.
Below all of them, even below Washington's coach?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know nothing about Washington's coach. We have a little bit of a delay. That's what's hurting me right now.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna put him above Washington's coach. I'm gonna put him right next to Matt Rule. You can flip them either way for me. Luke Fickell, Matt Rule, same conversation. I put Sharon Moore in front of both of them until he shows me otherwise. But I think with the number one quarterback in the class last year, he's going to be in a good spot. So the question for me right here is now, where's PJ Fleck? Does PJ
Yeah,
Fleck go in front of all those people? Is he behind any of them? Is he lined up with them? How are we feeling there?
I think we're right at where PJ is with who's left
I
because
tend
it's
to
hard.
agree.
It's hard because I don't know. PJ is at if you took PJ Fleck's record with what he's done for the program since he's been here, it is leaps and bounds better than his predecessors. If you put it against, if you put him in this records against and put him on Michigan or Ohio State, he would have lost his job 2 years ago.
But that begs the question of would he have done this record with a Michigan, or would he
With
have a better
That's
record
true.
and have won something with those schools?
That's true. He might have a couple of natties.
I think this is a good spot for him just because we don't know what Sharon Moore can be. He won 8 games in his first year, so we'll see what happens there. But he's also at Michigan, so if he wins 8 games for the next 3 years, he's probably going to get canned. So like Sharon Moore just being the unknown still, whereas Coach Fleck has what he just finished year 9,
Yep.
year 8, one of the two. I think that he with a 58-39 record, I mean he's well ahead he's not at 500 or anything like that. He's still turning the program around. 9 wins, 11 wins, 8 wins last year. That could have been 10 or 11. I think if he gets a 9+ win season this year, he continues to vault himself in the conversation. But I think right here at 8 in the conference is probably a good spot for him.
What about Kurt Signetti then? Because I think I'd put PJ in front of Kurt Signetti because
Dog, I gotta keep Kurt in front of him because
he had one good year.
just
Though.
looking at what he's done for
That's true.
yeah, but
At
looking at what he's
JMU,
done prior to the one good
yeah,
year,
he was good at
and
JMU.
then he comes into Indiana, who has been bottom of the barrel, and he's like, yo, we're winning 11 games. We're gonna compete with Ohio State for a little bit in that game with them too. I gotta put Signetti ahead of him. That might be recency bias, but
It
I
could
think
be,
I'd put
but
Kirk
you're right.
Signetti above Lincoln Riley right now too. I think
Yeah,
Lincoln Riley is maybe here at 7, and then I would put Brett Bielema at 6 just because what he did with Wisconsin, and then what he's doing now with Illinois and actually bringing them to relevancy. They
I
could
love
damn near be in the playoffs this upcoming year. I think you got to give Brett his credit.
I love Brett Bielema. I think he would be an awesome coach to play for.
So
That
Brett at 6 maybe, or do you put Signetti under Brett?
I would put. Signetti's
I
so
think we
tough
put
because
Signetti under Brett.
yeah. The big
All
four.
right, so I think if we put Brett Bielema in front of Signetti, yeah, I think if we put Brett Bielema in front of Signetti, you got Bielema at 5, Signetti at 6, Riley at 7, Fleck at 8, Sharon at 9, Matt Rule at 10, Luke Fickell at 11, Jed Fish at 12, Schiano at 13, Jonathan Smith at 14, Loxley at 15, Barry Odom at 16, Deshaun Foster at 17, and David Braun at 18. That leaves us with 4 coaches left, and it's probably the 4 that you would most anticipate in here. We've got James Franklin. We've
And Kirk.
got Kirk Ferentz, we've got Dan Lanning, and we've got Ryan Day.
I can't stand Ryan Day's face, and that's making it hard for me to put him up there. It's just I don't
He's
like
got to be one, bro. He's got to be one.
over Dan. I want to put
He's
Dan
the
Lanning.
only one. Ryan Day is the only one with a natty. We cannot put the only Big Ten coach with a natty at number 2. And his
Even if
record is 70-10.
he's got a painted on goatee.
70. His painted on goatee has 70 wins to 10 losses.
Okay, whatever. But he was. But what did
I'm
what's
cool
his name
putting
say?
Lanning at 2. in
Yeah, I
full.
mean, yeah, Dan Lanning is awesome. Like he was also a very easy school to recruit to, but he's done a good job.
Yep, yep. 35-6 so far. So already has 6 losses compared to Day's 10. Day's number one. I don't care. I don't care that Ohio State was just talking about firing him a year ago. He's number one.
That's crazy. He's definitely number one, though. Yes, he is the best coach in the Big Ten.
All right, so it comes down to Kirk Ferentz, James Franklin at 3 and 4. Make your case. Who is number 3 in the Big Ten coaching?
Number 3 is James Franklin. It has to be because when I look at coaching, I look at how hard it is to get kids to these schools. And well, I guess Iowa's the same thing then, if that's my case. I just don't like Iowa that much, so I'm gonna go James Franklin.
That's fair. That's fair. I
Yep.
would think I would also go James Franklin because he's been to more games that matter. He got to the CFP.
There you go.
He has gotten to the Big Ten championship game a couple times. They've got hell of a lot more NFL players and NFL talent, which also has to do with coaching. So I'm going to give it to Franklin as well. All right, so that's going to rank the head coaches for us. Day coming in at 1, Lanning 2, Franklin 3, and Kirk Ferentz 4. Brett Bielema at 5, and then you've heard the rest earlier in the show. PJ Fleck came in at 8 for us, so he is in the top half of coaches in the Big Ten. So we're going to close off today's Gopher Broke podcast. I want to do a fun question, or from now on, after this one, because we didn't do it at the beginning, we're going to open with a fun chat GPT question, and we're going to close with a fun chat GPT question for our Golden Gophers. So the one we're going to close with today, no opener, is if Goldie Gopher had a Netflix show, what would it be called and what genre would it be?
Ooh, oh, it would be like kind of like a Love Is Blind, but it would be all different mascots. It would just be different mascots. So like he'd be doing Love Is Blind, and somebody would be reading the questions and be like Mrs. Met on the other side. You know?
Yo, I got the title. I got the title. Are you ready for the title?
Okay. Yep.
The title of the show is Goldie Needs a Gal. And then it's
There it is.
you're getting the mascots and things like that.
That's what I'm saying. Like we get all the mascots. Not a lot. The ratio to dude to chick mascots is not even. It would be a tough one for him. But
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, maybe Goldie goes both ways. We don't know. I don't judge on
yeah,
Goldie.
that's
You got
true.
to do
That's
you,
true. That's
Goldie. But
true. I shouldn't
overall,
have assumed.
we'll
I
find
shouldn't have
you.
assumed.
We'll find you somebody. But that is good. Goldie Netflix show coming to a town near you.
Love
And
that.
we'll open with a fun one each and every show and close with a fun one each and every show. Thank you for tapping in. I know we got some storm service going on, so hopefully this podcast isn't too unlistenable, but we'll find out. Either way, we had a fun time with it, and hopefully you'll tap in for the next one. Until next time, this is the Go for Broke podcast. Kane, Rob, Tristyn, Spann-Ford signing off. See y'all next time.